when you were sort of setting out to write the suites, these were based around sort of obviously the conversations that you had, but did you know there were certain themes and like emotional themes or tones you had to hit and you had to cover? Did it kind of extend from there?
Yeah, but they kind of kept it a bit vague to, I think part of it was to protect the people who are in the show and because they didn't want anything to leak, they didn't want anything to get out. So they wouldn't even send me, I saw the first two episodes, I saw cuts of those, but past that, I actually didn't even see anything because they were really keeping it very close to the chest. But they would say in episode three, we're gonna have a very powerful, dramatic, no, wait a minute, powerful and upsetting moment where someone is revealing a story that's happened to them, which ends up being Drake Bell's story. And it is very powerful and upsetting. But they didn't tell me who it was, what it was. They just said, like, we need something there. At one point, I think Moonlight, the score was thrown out as a reference, just for as kind of like a general vibe. Granted, I don't think I quite got I got as close to that as I could while still kind of living within the palette I was writing for the show. But they would kind of throw little things out here and there, or like there was one cue where it was like we can have it's not all doom and gloom. We can have a moment that's a bit more poppy, and that's where some of the more fun kind of 90s pop tracks came from. But so it was a bit tricky to kind of write this stuff while also not having a ton to go off of, like being very vague. So it was a real practice on my end of like one, letting control go to them, but also two, having to be creative and come up with stuff. And I don't exactly know where it's going to go. I don't exactly know what I'm writing to. I kind of just have the overall, you know, headline of a story in my head and a couple rough cuts that I've seen to go off of. So it was kind of an interesting experiment to see where it would take me.